So most sports cars these days have become so hindered by modern technology. Automatics, dual clutch transmissions, sound deadening. A lot of that stuff really hinders the ultimate fun that you get out of a sports car. So Ford went ahead and said, no, we're sticking to our racing heritage and making the best sports car out there, and a very affordable one too. This is the 2017 Ford Shelby GT350. I did not say Mustang because this is a totally separate car from the Mustang. It has a wider track than the Mustang, and nowhere on this car is the horse symbol there, so you cannot call this a Mustang at all. It features a flat plane crank V8, naturally aspirated. That's the key to making a true sports car. 6-speed manual by Tremec, and it has Recaro seats, so it's pretty much got everything right so far. Then on top of that, 429 pound-feet of torque and 526 horsepower. Redline is at 8250, meaning 8,250 RPM. Obviously that's a sign that the gear ratios are long and tall, which is true, and that is very good for this car also. So for the driver's seat, it has 2 analog speedometers and tachometers. Here's your oil pressure, oil temperature also. It is a 6-speed manual. This is one of the things I mentioned at the start. A lot of sports cars are forgetting this. The true passion of a sports car is a manual transmission, and this is by Tremec. Here's the handbrake. It's on right now. Now the steering wheel has Myco, and it's not called Alcantara. This is a different company. It's called Myco. Same idea. A lot of people complain about the plastics in this car, but that is not a problem at all, because this is one of those cars where it does not matter if there's any plastic used. This is a pure sports car, and the dashboard is actually pretty. I mean, there's not a lot of bad visibility at all. It's all good. The thigh bolsters are very nice and tight over here, which is really interesting. It really wants you to stay in position, and these aren't powered. These are manual. So this car has a 5.2 liter flat plane crank V8, meaning the cylinders fire evenly, so it provides a smooth sound and more power. Redline is at 8250, 8,250 RPM, which is really high. All right, let's get started. Foot on the brake and clutch. So loud inside. 526 horsepower, naturally aspirated V8. A lot of cars these days are just bi-turbos and, you know, single turbocharged, and this is just back to old school technology. It's awesome. So the V8 has 526 horsepower and 429 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot of power. A lot of people say this car is low on torque, but that is not the case. Since this is a naturally aspirated V8, you don't have to wait for that power. And on the steering wheel down here, there are a lot of settings. Like over here is the steering setting. You can put it onto sport. Then there's comfort and normal. So on comfort, it's very loose. Like, this feels so easy. And then as you put it to normal, it gets a little tighter. You could feel that. And then sport is really tight, so which is really nice. And for the suspension, damper is normal and sport, so now it's even tighter. Over here, here's the badging, the GT350 model Shelby 5.2 liter V8, and then Ford Performance right there. Ford is very proud of making this car. So these are Recaro bucket seats. They have very tall bolstering everywhere, even almost to the top, just like a race car. And for the racing harness, you got the 2 openings. This is Myco. It's just like Alcantara, but a different company, which Ford teamed up with to make this. A lot of people complain in this car that there are plastics, but it's fine. That's not an issue at all, because this is a true performance car, and weight reduction is key to making this awesome and light. And here's the 6-speed manual. Very nice. 2 cup holders, handbrake, and then your little glove compartment is pretty good size, considering it is a 2-door sports car. It's nicely padded. This stuff, wherever you put your hands, should be good material, and this is good material. The steering wheel is felted and half leather. So here's the awesome steering wheel. It has this little stripe on here too, to make sure the steering wheel is straight. And the steering wheel has a lot of buttons, and they're all very useful. Like this is for your mode select. for the suspension. It has a little suspension symbol. Under that is for the steering feel, so you could put it to comfort, normal, and sport. And then for the damper, we have normal and sport. Volume and tuning, this does not have the technology package, so it has the smaller screen. But does that even really matter in a car like this? All you need to know is it has a 6-speed manual, a naturally aspirated V8, and rear-wheel drive. And front engine. We here at Auto Group love front engine, rear-wheel drive. Like 3 of the cars that we have reviewed so far are all front engine, rear-wheel drives. And especially we love naturally aspirated engines, so this car is fantastic. And in order to put this car into reverse, you pick it up and put it all the way up into the left, and then obviously you come back into the middle, and first, second, third, everything is so short. Like all the gear throws are so good. And yeah, that's basically it for the interior. So in order to bring up this, where is the thing? Yeah. Oh. नहीं मिल रहा. Sorry, filmate. So this car has a 5.2 liter flat plane crank V8. Flat plane crank means that the cylinders fire evenly, left, right, over and over, and that gives you more power.
Resources and the expertise of larger bags.
So that's the 5.2 liter flat plane crank V8. It makes 526 horsepower. पैसेंजर डोर अच्छा तुम्हारा खुला अच्छा Oh, recording? अच्छा